Nowadays, I prefer dark chocolate.
I push the button.
Oh, you push the button.
Oh.
We have.
Yeah, we're live.
We are live.
Yeah.
Was it the blue button?
What'd you say?
Was it the blue button?
Actually, this is the red button for record.
Red for record.
I don't know. Was that supposed to mean something? I don't understand.
Today's episode was brought to you by the letter R.
I thought it was the number 12.
17.
Oh, wait.
No, that was the last episode.
But yeah, no, this is the green room. Well, we're in the green room. This is the B-sides in the green room, which actually soon will not be. It'll just be the green room. Will it be in the green room? Should it be? I don't know.
It's all just two idiots talking. Okay, why did
I still like two, what was it, two nothings talking, oh no, two nobodies talking about nothing.
You didn't like that?
No, I love that.
Oh.
I thought that was a great title. I just felt it was being the double negatives. That it was like, it kind of goes against what I do, but.
So today, I guess we have a friend with us from local area. I met him in Quakertown.
From a thing.
From a thing. I met him in a shop in Quakertown, like cool dude.
I'm a guy from this place where I did this thing that time.
This place, he does art. He likes to paint.
Yeah. From Bethlehem and then New York originally. Run a pop art store, making the art and selling art pretty much. Where I met you, and we wound up having a fantastic conversation. So we said, he told me about the show, and I kept listening to the show. So now, like, as we're talking about things, even with the Baggett here, I was like, oh, I remember that, and so.
The Braggett.
Oh, the Braggett. Yeah.
The Braggett.
Dude, either way, I don't say that. I don't think any of this is allowed.
None of this is allowed.
Well, see, this is why we don't video any of it, because then you can't be like, that wasn't me. That doesn't sound like me.
Can't get any hand signals in of just, doing this. And
so can we, speaking of the Braggett, is this, well, I mean, you're going to.
What? Oh, preface this? So, what? Oh, the Braggett.
She got all excited. I love what you get.
I just had a really good idea.
Dude, all of your ideas are good.
Well, okay, sit on this one if you like. Okay, so follow me. You know how you're talking about not doing video and whatnot? So imagine the audio playing to a visual of hand-drawn figures as in the T video, but it's you guys sitting at the table in stick figures.
So I had said to him originally what I wanted to do for the video, non-video, was to do what we were doing, but then have like hand puppets. Kind of like, what was it, Crank Yankers?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the stick figures would probably be, I don't know. I mean,
like drawing of us.
I just thought of that
talking
video.
About T-consent.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I'm thinking animation-wise. All right, so production time. Because here's the deal: is like I want to add to it, but like I don't want to have a lot of time in it. You know what I mean?
But it's like
drawing shit takes time.
Oh wait.
Oh yeah, but yeah, no Braggett.
Braggett. What was I supposed to give a description? I don't know. There's
oh, we get off track so easily.
There's a bunch of pounds of honey in it.
There's a bunch of pounds of honey in it.
There's about 4.5 pounds of grain in it.
Pieces.
Pieces. And
pounds, baby.
And a very basic, it's called USO5 yeast. Well, it's a dry yeast. It's a very basic, that doesn't give off a lot of flavoring. It doesn't add to the whatever you put in it. So
it's like chicken. It tastes like everything.
So it ended up coming out, what did I say? It's in it. It's coriander and ginger. But I didn't put a lot in there, so it's just kind of subtle notes. Mm-hmm. And to me right now, it tastes more like a wine. But then I took the rest of this and I dry hopped it, and I'm still waiting for that. I just started.
So this is so this is the original base. You took this and then dry hopped this, which is what. So we don't have the dry hop. That is. You're waiting for that now.
That is, yeah, to come.
Gotcha. But this is the base without the dry.
Should probably wait like another month to even try that. Next one.
Gotta let it, okay.
Let it sit a little bit.
But now what yeah, it's gonna settle. But so what exactly makes this the Braggett then? Like what is, so it's, it's mead-ish because there's honey, right?
Well, a straight up mead is gonna be like, I don't know what the actual numbers are, but I would think like 90-something% honey. And then whatever other flavorings you might put in there, whether it's fruit or, most of it is honey. So a braggot, the only difference is that you're actually using grain that's malted already, which is going to add to the kind of characters, more like a bready, like toast type flavor, I would say, from the grains I used. There'd be like a maltiness to it.
Yeah, I mean, it smells sweet. Like it's got like a wine nose to it. So I get that.
To me, it doesn't. I probably don't have the best palate since I still smoke cigarettes, but there's definitely
there's almost like a sweet juice to it.
Like a cidery.
Well, yeah, I mean, I want to say like apple-ish, but without that cider bite. Almost like apple juice.
I mean, do you get orange on the nose?
No, I mean, I know this is
The way you're
this
describing
when we
it.
had like Scott on. It was just like three dudes sitting around mics smelling glasses. This is the most boring thing
The
to
way
watch.
you're describing it sounds like a lambic. I know we've discussed that it's not processed the same, but
I
it's
think you
made the
just like
same.
saying
But
lambic.
Well, it's
Because you
not.
did that with Scott too. You're just like, is that a lambic? You're like, no, actually, it's not. It's close though.
It's not sour, but it's dry.
It does taste
like
a lot like wine,
To me, it tastes. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm curious how that's going to turn out after
Yeah.
being dry hopped and then carbonated.
Like I honestly almost really get like apple juice and then like a little bit in the nose and a little bit on the. It's like apple drink.
Well, I want to try that too.
It's not cider, but it's not like.
I
It's
want
called a
that.
sizer, where you actually make. You start, instead of using water, you start by using apple cider.
Well, see, and I would say
Or
like pressed.
fruit cider,
It's like
whatever.
pressed apple. You know what I mean? Because that's like there's apple juice, and then there's like actually pressed apple, where it's like thicker. It's got like viscosity to it. It has almost like that kind of a tone, where it's like close to what cider would be, even if it's like non-alcoholic, just like apple cider. But that's the weird note I'm picking up.
So if you make
Appley.
a mead out of cider, though, then you get a sizer, which it'll give. No, that's what it's called. And then it'll give you a lot more.
Does it
of
have to
that.
siddle?
It'll
Does the cider have to siddle?
Yeah, it'll probably have to siddle for quite a little.
I might just go down to the bay. I just may. Might eat some hay.
What do you say?
yay!
But I mean, all right. So, but this is not the finished product because you did say you dry hop. So this is going to be this will have that dry hop.
The rest of this is now sitting in bottles in the basement.
Just chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, it's going to dry hop the braggot for about a month, which that does sound horrible. Like, that's why I'm just sitting here kind of smiling, and it's awesome what you made. But I'm like,
I just got like Pulp Fiction, get the gimp, but the gimp's sleeping. We'll wake him up.
It was already dry hopped. It was only dry hopped for 4 days.
I mean, it's very good. I think it's good.
I'm very
This has
with
not
what
been
it
dry
is. I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious to see the dry hop on it, especially with what you were saying because it's going to be more to. You're not doing it for like ABV or something. It's not for the hop bitter bite or whatever. It's
Well, if you could imagine that with like, I don't know, I can look it up exactly, but it's like more like tropical fruit notes. There'd be some
So you
citrus in there.
still have some of that.
I do honestly. I'm going to say that's going to play really well with that.
Do you think?
Yeah, it's going to give it. It's definitely going to give it a.
Because it does, the coriander will give it like a citrusy kind of back note along with kind of like a spicy citrusy.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, look, with what you're talking about, I feel like you're going to start getting into that like passion fruit, guava, cherry kind of a spot. And it does very much, like you said, like a wine body to it almost. Like it really does. Like it has that coat, like that thickness to it. You know what I mean? That's pretty
Then
dope.
it's going to be
I want the dry hop though.
relatively well carbonated. when it's
Relatively well.
Save
a
me
carbonated.
finished
some.
product. Save you some? Okay.
Yeah.
Save me some. It's like George Lopez in here.
I can do that.
Appreciate it.
I'll put you on the list.
That's pretty cool. So I drank all of mine.
Oh, it was good, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, it was, you know. So far, you have yet to bring anything that's not intolerable, which is really dope. Like you're... Dude, no.
That's really raising that bar. Intolerable.
Well, no. Because here's the deal. Typically, when you get somebody who's fresh to either, dude, it doesn't matter, cooking, automaking, when you start out, you don't know shit. You usually mess something up just out of pure statistics. Like it's just going to happen. So the fact that he has yet to do that on everything he's doing, I think that says a lot. So that's
I'm making all the newbie mistakes,
dude,
though.
what's up? Yeah, but you're not really
right.
paying for it because, I mean, everything's been pretty good so far. I mean, even your porter, which I'm not a big porter guy, I rather enjoyed it because it was just mellow enough, but hearty enough that it's like, yeah, this is a porter, but it's not like smacking you in the face with it.
I want to do it like a double chocolate, either porter or stout, like a light stout, if there is a thing. A lighter, sweeter stout. Like not light, but I mean, obviously, it would still be dark in color, but it would be still like between 4 and a 5.
So you've only been doing this for a little while, or
A couple months.
really?
This would be my 6th batch of anything that I've brewed so far.
Oh, no way. Like the way you were talking, and it's actually really good. I thought you were at this game for a few years or something.
So, okay, backstory.
Yeah, dude, tell him meeting Scott, bro.
I haven't told you the whole backstory of me. So I worked for from the time I was 18. Worked for a big insurance company for like 25 years. Worked for the same insurance company. Bounced around, different positions or whatever. But finally, I didn't like the direction things were going, and everything was getting pushed to work from home. And I was like, I need to be around people. And I'm kind of trying to find a new way for myself right now. So this has kind of become a new passion. I'd like to get into this.
I mean, you're good at it. You should definitely stick with it. I mean,
Thank
it is.
you.
Yeah. I mean, it's, and I get what you're saying too, because before the gallery, I was working for an industrial gas company. I guess we'll leave names out of it. And, which is probably smart. And, and I felt the same way. I was confined in an office, and, as we met in the gallery, I just like sitting out in the general public and meeting people, and just.
And there is a time for that in the office too. But
yeah. But again, I was in HR meetings constantly, not because of pushing the envelope, but, you would say things like one thing that would bother me more than anything. And I guess where I met my girl, we worked for a bank at this point, and we'd go outside, and everybody outside would be on their smoke breaks. And, the one thing I hated was they would always talk about work. And I'm like, well, you're not, you're not on break. Like, if you're still gonna, complain about what's going on in there, how are you on break? So we would joke and tell stories, and of course, always not the person you're talking to, but 2 people back said they walked in the middle of the story, as we talked about before. When you joke, you have the bend, and they would walk in when you're bringing the bend down to as low as possible. So it's usually the filthiest part of the joke or the most risque part of the joke.
And totally out of context.
Totally out of context. And then they go back in, and next thing you know, I'm in HR, and I got to do the whole bit.
But he wasn't here, or she wasn't here,
Yeah.
You can't say bomb on a plane.
Yeah, those are the same people you'll find in corporate America that like make you scratch your head. Like the people they try to get you to say something.
Yeah.
That's inappropriate so that they can take you to HR. And the truth of the matter is their file is huge.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're constantly going to HR and saying, this is happening, that's happening, and it's like, after a while, you have to be like, okay, well, there's a common denominator here, you'd think.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because...
But in the corporate world, like, they have to take action every time that happens.
No matter what it is, they have to, get you involved.
Did you file out an incident report?
Yeah. Did you talk to this person, that person?
Did you get the memo? Yes, I got the memo.
TPS reports.
Yep. TPS reports. I got it right here.
But yeah, I mean, but that's just, let alone, even like right now with us being on the age of rage and stuff, I got to watch what I say at all times, especially something I tell other artists. I'm like, listen, when you're out there, you're kind of a public figure. You don't want to just throw your opinion on everything out because, 10 people aren't going to agree with it. Those 10 people are
going to be the loudest.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, I was just thinking that the way things used to be growing up when we were kids, and we're talking about braggot and whether or not we can actually say that.
Yeah, no, right.
And it got me thinking about, remember when we were kids and like everything was gay?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, everything.
Like you can't say that anymore.
No, you cannot say it. You can't say.
But it was just.
Well, you can, just not without getting backlash.
Oh yeah.
So there's
But the original reason
Choice.
for using the word gay was happy. That kind of got sidetracked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
When we were kids, like it
To be
wasn't
greatly
we didn't say it to
elated.
be derogatory. We said it just like,
Well, so
that's
its
that's
roots,
gay.
its roots in that component was to be derogatory because it was to put a placement on something that was different, and it was to denote that difference. It wasn't so much that it was that thing; it was just that it was different.
But I mean, somebody would easily say, "Oh, man, that was gay," or "You're gay," and like
It doesn't mean that it was right.
they didn't
though.
mean homosexual.
Yeah, like I remember.
Yeah, but,
They just meant that's gay, man.
but
like-
that's the thing is for you to be able to signify with being gay, and then to have that term to be signified with being different because people want to still use it as like cool lingo. That's the problem.
So if you call me a braggot, that ain't right.
I mean, but I think that's funny though. What if I identify as a braggart? I mean, it's 2022. I can
could
do
be.
whatever I think what year it was.
You could
It's
be.
2022. There's a lot of twos.
You look like a braggot.
I mean, someone's got to pay my bills.
Yeah, it's hard on like you said, like we can't use some of because we're all in the same age bracket here. So even when I talk to a lot of the younger kids that come into the store and stuff, I realize that I feel like a caveman. And what's weird about it is that remember when we were kids, like, our parents and grandparents, they said stuff that, we were like, oh, right?
Whoa.
But you just went, oh, that's,
That's grandpa.
That's grandpa.
Yeah, no.
Leave him alone. Let him do his thing.
He's from 1930. He's going to die soon. Leave him be.
Like, and then like we don't get that thing. Like, like if I go into a store and I'm like, oh, let me get a quarter drink. And they're like, those don't exist. And I'm like, oh, that's gay. Next thing you know,
Excuse me.
someone pops out of nowhere, hits me with a flag and then I'm canceled. And I'm like, I was just shocked that things aren't what they cost in 1985. I don't know what that means, but yeah, this new generation does not give us that leniency. They don't go, oh, he said it's gay about the quarter drinks. Like he's not talking about that. They're just like ready to pounce on you.
This is what I love about this is what I feel is the irony in all of that is you basically they're judging you for being derogatory. So they're basically like, when people do this in this fashion, they're giving you shit, and they're more or less they're being intolerant of the fact that you want to be this way. So it's like they're trying to teach you what tolerance is by being intolerant towards you. Which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. It's like you have to be accepting of us and this, and it's just like whoa. So I have to say what you say, and I have to do what you say.
So back to the 1980s. That's gay.
Yeah.
Well, because that's the thing, though. Is like, all right. So
I'm not saying it now. I'm just saying what it would sound like if I said it now. Is that
And that's the thing is, if we had the allowance to still do that, that would be that tolerance of it, which is what we should all be working towards. Because I mean, hey, you can signify however you want, identify however you want. Let me know, and I'm happy to do that for you. However, for you to tell me what I can and can't do, I mean, that isn't that oppression? I don't give a shit what color, creed, anything. Like,
See,
you tell me I can't do something. That's
Oh yeah, that upsets me more than anything, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that there's not a lot of human interaction. As we said, you see somebody and you might prejudge them based on their looks. Then you start talking to them and you go, "Oh, this guy's actually really cool," so on and so forth. So if he says something like, "Oh, hey, quarter drinks aren't a quarter, that's gay," you're like, "Oh, he's not homophobic. I know Vic. He just says things like, sometimes he just doesn't mean it."
I just say things.
Yeah,
Sometimes I do things I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes I
apologize.
just do things and then I don't know why I do them. Like half the time, some people. I had this painting in the store that was of 3 robots. And so many people were like, "Oh my God, what's that one?" And I was like, "I don't know."
It's 3 robots.
Yeah, and they were like, "What does it mean?" And I'm like, I don't want to be rude.
I know. As soon as you said 3 robots, I was like interested.
Yeah, it was cool. It was, and I was like, all right, it's nothing too crazy. It was just this colored background. And, I was trying to tell people, I was like, look, man, I had smoked before and I just went to town on it. And I said, so if you want to put some interpretation, great. For me, it was a cool background, and then I thought, well, why don't I just put 3 robots? Because like with art, I always tell people I'm not a serious artist. There's other artists that are what I consider up their own ass. Where they're like, oh, this little black dot on this white canvas, I call this one, Dad. Like, like, Dad, why did you leave? And it's just like, oh, that sucks. Like mine is like, here's a stormtrooper wearing a suit. It's called Corporate Empire.
Dude, I love this, bro. I was gonna say, I noticed if I'm incorrect, let me know. But I feel as though there's no signature on there.
Oh yeah, no, I don't sign it, and then but I will. I'll sign it before I leave.
Yeah,
absolutely,
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Because it's kind of my little time bomb effect that just in case I get big enough, because people say, "Why don't you sign?" I'm like, "Well, no one asked," and then I'm like, "But if something does happen with me,
you should.
I should.
You should."
I'm like, well, then if I do make it big, then I'm like, well, it's a sad day that they didn't ask for my signature, so jokes on them. But in the meantime. I'm just like, I feel like it would mess up the design, or
I just about how many artists though
it depends
found
on your
ways to
signature.
like hide it within the pattern of something, or
much clever artists than I am. They have figured that out.
I'll be honest, dude. I feel like you need to meet my my tattoo artist. You might know her. She's in Quakertown. Amanda Roberts.
I think I might have met her.
Actually, it's for her. I always forget how to pronounce because she got married to Ryan. Forshire. I don't know. Fucking FR. There's a lot of it's Slavic or Polish. I don't know some shit. But
oh yeah, good luck.
She's super dope. Telltale Art Studio. She's really banging. Great artist, and she has like lots of people come in. I think she at one point was talking about trying to just like put art up on the wall to support other artists in a sense.
That's awesome of her.
Yeah. So, and yeah, she has like guest appearance from other tattooers and stuff all the time. And so, she's very much about supporting the community and, she's really dope. She's basically like my little sister. I've known her for like over 20 years.
See, that's awesome. That's one thing I was liking about listening to your show. You guys really do show a lot of support. Even having me here now, which by the way, thank you. You guys do support a lot. And I agree with that. Like there's some artists, like I said, the ones that are up their own ass that are like, oh, look at me. I'm the only one. And I go, no, like I'll have other artist stuff in my store and we'll do free shows for artists. Like we do it all the time, every few months. I tell them like, just bring a table. I'll rent out this big hall for you guys and we'll make it work. And I tell them like, it's never a competition. If someone comes in and they go, this Madonna versus the Stormtrooper, it's all subjective. Unless me and you are trying to have some kind of contest to get him to buy one, when we're going to break out weird tactics and stuff,
But still, it's still subjective because it's what he thinks is going to be, the value of it. And that's the thing is, to me, you can't really put a value on an emotional expression, which is what any art would be. But
right,
I don't know, whatever.
And I get those. I get those art school because I never went to art school, and.
Not like Juilliard trained and
none of that.
I'm the same with my chefing. I never was formally trained, but I've apprenticed under several chefs across different genres of food. So
see, I think that's kind of the best way to do it because then you don't get locked into a box. If you have one teacher, he's going to go do this, do that. And someone walked up to me one day. It was at a show, and this guy comes up and he goes, oh, I noticed you haven't gone to art school. To which I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean? And he's
Are you about to start some shit? What's going on, homie?
And he's like, no, I see that you're not following any rules or patterns. And I was like, I didn't even know there was, and I would be upset to find out what they are. Because if I'm in my studio and I'm like, I need yellow, I'll grab whatever the hell is yellow. Like if it's watercolor, I'm like, just make it work somehow. And then it doesn't most times, kind of like cooking. If you need, like if you need basil and you're like, I guess oregano's fine. You're wrong. It's going to taste way different.
There's very few that you can actually, because there is sometimes where like, if you're, like chili powder, if you're out of chili powder, you can make a facsimile with like cumin and like chili and a few other things, like some garlic and stuff. So, you can get pretty close to it. So you can, but but like you're saying though, you can't, there's certain things that you can't do, but there's plenty of ways to kind of work around it.
Right.
And it's finding that thing to work around it.
Yeah. And then, you have and you get all types, I think of my art as kind of more the punk rock style where it's just that 90s style of art. My cousin called me out and he got it dead on. He goes, your art, you remind me of Pogs. And I was like, oh shit, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, yeah, that I guess that would be a Pog back in the day, I was a little too old for it, but I was like, it's just, I find it to be more fun. Don't get me wrong. I love a thoughtful piece, something you could just look at and stare at, but I'm more into, you look at it, you laugh, or you go, oh, that's interesting.
Bro, I like graffiti and I love Star Wars, so it's like, that's the dopest shit ever.
Maybe you could shoot
man.
for like something more like Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh, Garbage Pail Kids were...
Dude, Garbage Pail Kids are so dope.
Oh my God. Like,
Garbage Pail Kids,
Yeah,
man.
man.
They still sell them.
Yeah, like Gooey
Really?
Louie
That's
and
not
shit.
the old ones,
and-
though. I mean,
like that was something that I
Yeah,
love.
Messy Missy and...
I haven't seen the new ones, though, honestly.
Dude, they made a fucking movie out of them Johns.
Oh, it was
It was
bad, but
creepy
it was
as
good.
fuck.
It was bad, but it was good.
Dude, no, it was like Cabbage Patch Kids went to the toxic dump, so it was like a trauma film or something. It was the
There's
weirdest
a lot
visual.
of movies in that category.
What's crazy is
It was bad, but it was good.
Yeah.
But
That's a
wait,
whole category.
I know, but wait, there's more.
the toxic dump would be like their house, right? Because they're like the Garbage Pail Kids.
Well, yeah, that's where they, it's like the same thing as like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They were down in the sewer, so they're like, fuck it, we're here.
I think in the Garbage Pail Kids movie, and I hope I'm wrong because I'm like, I don't want to be right and correct somebody about the Garbage Pail Kids movie, but I think they were on a trash can that was actually a spaceship, and they crashed into like an old store. And I used to get them.
I think that was what the movie said.
right, like
Right. That wasn't the backstory from where the cards came from. I think when they made the movie, they were just like, hey, guys.
Yeah.
And it became more elaborate.
because I would always get them confused because I was like, oh, that's kind of the plot to Fraggle Rock, where it's this store and there's the big fluffy dog, and at the end of the day, there's like this little mouse hole that leads to a wonderful place, and
This whole hidden
just-
city.
Fraggle Rock's amazing.
Fraggle Rock is so good.
Answer
Yeah,
cares
dude,
away.
wasn't it our dude that told
Where
us
he's for
Fraggle
another
Rock
day.
was
Let
the
the
way
music play.
that was it Jim Henson wanted to bring peace to the world, to unite us, because using the Muppets, like doing Fraggle Rock, meant that you could have any language dubbed over top of it. So
Oh,
you could have this thing that just transcended every single culture, continent and everything. Right? Isn't that what it was?
Just swap out the voices. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
It's
China,
genius.
and it was the only. I think it even to date is still the only puppet show that's ever been played on air in China.
Oh, no way.
Well, because again, you can dub whatever audio you want, and they can make it as propagandist as they want. But yeah, I think isn't that what our dude said? I'm pretty sure that we had
That
our
is
guy
true.
on. He
Like
was
you could
telling us
actually
that.
change the whole. That's terrible, though.
Yeah, but that's why
Changing the
China
whole-
Could you
allowed it, because
imagine?
they could. I think that's what he said. If I'm recalling correctly, am I the only? I'm like, please, both of you, please back us up. Like, wasn't he on when he said that? I feel like.
Well, that would make complete sense because they do that. They'll change character bios, or they'll leave out something in film, especially in China. If I think it's anything homosexual or anything with ghost, they don't like that either. So I know Ghostbusters was like kind of a big thing when they were trying to release it over there because they're like, well, we don't like ghosts, and it's like, well, then what the hell are they doing?
Yeah, I don't like ghosts. That's gay.
That's gay. And that's why China hates us. But
I mean, that's one of the reasons.
that's
But
one
yeah.
of, yeah. That's one of the friendly reasons. The other ones sound way too, they're above my pay level, but
Oh, yeah. And I mean, that's to be said, I think, for a lot of countries, really.
Yeah.
Which kind of kills me is because a lot of Americans, because we don't really, even when we do travel outside of the States, we're very blind in how we do it, because I think of how we're raised here in a sense. You get that overprivileged, I don't care what color, creed, background, whatever. Like, if you have the ability to travel out of the country, typically those people have an air about them. Mm-hmm. And those are the people that the rest of the world kind of meets. And they're just like, Americans are all assholes. And it's like, well, yeah, most of us are.
Oh yeah, because
It really is, but
we're so shitty when we travel. Like, we just go to other places and then we want the things that we have at home. And then we're mad that doesn't exist.
Why doesn't this plug in? What the hell?
Like how do you not know what you call this a burger? How do you not know my favorite things? And they're like,
oh
'cause-
yeah, with cheese.
yeah, something my girl has been doing. She does these things. She works from home and she watches these cool YouTube videos that are kind of peaceful when you have them on the background. They're like walkthroughs of Italy and all these other nice places. And I'm like, that's great. But I'm on the other end and I'm not trying to crap on anything, but I'll watch Kensington videos and stuff. And I'm just like, and she's like, why do you watch this? And I'm like, because I feel horrible for these people. I can't believe we're at this point. And she's like, yeah, but I'm watching Italy and all this stuff. And I was like, well, yeah, but I leave my house and then I'm not pissed off that I'm not getting on a Vespa You know, like I leave my house and I feel pretty confident that, you know, I'm like, well, you know, things.
My life's not going to be that bad.
It's not that bad.
Yo, no, I'm gonna be for real. Over in Europe, like jocking a scooter, that's the shit. People, they got like little exhausts on them, and like, I mean, they're zipping in and out of traffic. Because all right, so over in Europe, they do the same thing like freaking Jersey, where they got hella circles and stuff. Like they're everywhere. Like this is just a thing, right? And over there, you'll have traffic that's flowing at like easy 45, 50 around this bend, like 3 to 4 lanes. And then there's
guys
this
will weave in between the
dude, chick, young, old, doesn't matter. And they could just be like straight upright on a Vespa, and they're just like, you know, back and forth, just like all suited up.
There's no such thing as lane splitting in other countries too. Like,
oh really?
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, dude, they zip in and out. They don't give a shit.
Like in the U.S., lane splitting is a huge thing. Like you can get busted for that. So like,
people like
riding a
open car doors
motorcycle,
and
if you
stuff.
want to cut in between, like they don't allow that.
Dude, growing up, I thought like that was the motorcycle lane. Is that what that line's for? Like they seem to use it. I mean, it just makes sense.
I always thought, and I guess I still thought to this very moment, that it was kind of like a risk reward lane, you know, like,
Yeah, right.
you know, where it's like, sure, you're not in traffic, but you know, like if some shitty kid wants to open his door, you're doing a front flip from hell, like, you know, but
Plus, they always show you in the movies.
yeah, you know,
They do it in the fucking movies.
Well, I don't think while cars are stopped, there's a problem with it.
right. Yeah. But
So if you're at a stoplight, and a lot of cars will get pissed off about that, but it's like, dude, I have my own air conditioning. If I'm not moving on this thing, I'm going to get hot really fast.
that is true. Like,
So it's like, you know, you kind of look back and you're like, sorry, you know, as a rider, but you can do that when it's stopped. When they're moving, that's a whole nother.
See,
You're not
this is-
supposed to do that.
All right, even though I don't ride it anymore currently, the fact that I very much, when I see another rider and, you know, you get to a stoplight and they're just like cruising on up and people like try to snake over, I'm like, dude, come on, bro. I know you're pissed that they get to fucking cheat code it.
yeah.
Suck it up. Do you know what I mean? Like, I pull over
Yeah,
and he'll
like
be like, go ahead, bro. I get it, man. Dude,
Yeah,
trust
like
me.
if
If
I've
I
done
was,
that
I'd be
if-
doing the same thing, homie.
If I'm on a stretch and I know I'm going to be with the riders for a minute, I'll actually pass a car just to kind of hang out with the other bikes because I feel power in numbers, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Plus,
definitely.
there are other people on bikes, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's like when it comes to motorcycles and stuff like that. Like I feel the same way. Like you said, if they're stopped, they don't have AC, they don't have music, you know. So I'm just like, let them go. You know, what are you gonna do? Like, you know, you really like feel like killing someone at this point, or you just want to just take the L and, you know, you're sitting at the light and.
But like you said, you never know. There could be some D-bag just sitting in traffic, pissed off that he's all hot, and maybe his AC is broke.
Oh yeah.
You know, and he's like, this guy, you know.
Like even today, and I won't reveal the location of your guys' secret lair or anything like that, but, you know, I'm heading here and, you know, I'm going through these, I guess I could say wooded roads, you know, find us now. But anyway, so I'm going through.
Oh, yeah, we're in the middle of nowhere for sure.
Like
Yeah.
Back in the
For
woods.
sure.
You know, yeah, you know.
Make you squeal like a
So
pig.
that's how I felt like I felt the way Kim Basinger felt in like the flight of the Batmobile. You know, like when Batman's taking her to the cave.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I feel that.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my, every turn is a surprise. Every, you know, and I'm just like, oh my God. And then I'm stuck behind something. And it was a school bus, but it was like a short bus, but it had like a white towel hung over the back. Like 2 of the brake lights were out and shit. So I was stuck behind this thing for
That's appropriate for where we're at. Yeah.
yeah, I'm stuck behind
Yeah,
for
no,
20
it'll happen.
minutes. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
this is the craziest shit. Like, and I'm making up stories about them in my head because I'm
Right there with you. Right there with you.
and,
Because you're bored, basically.
right.
Oh, shit.
And, you know,
Yeah.
so, and I'm thinking about that. And then all of a sudden, as I was having this wonderful fantasy that I'm following like this Texas Chainsaw Massacre / Partridge Family bus. And I was like, you know,
Well, they charm them with the Christian light,
Yeah.
and then when they're not looking, that's when they're like the daughter comes in. She's like, "Oh, hey, Billy, how are you?" And then like just as you think you're about to get some, the cousin comes out and, you know, chops off your dick or some shit.
absolutely.
That's
I mean,
yeah, that's a thing.
Or just start pulling off your fingernails one at a time.
No, they're not that mean.
and then I was like enjoying this fantasy, and I'm like, okay,
I like to collect teeth.
yeah, and they were going slow, so I was like, okay, they're kind of saving my life because I would have totally baha'd off something if I was wanted to go the
But
speed
yeah,
I
there's
wanted.
a few spots.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
okay,
don't know
so
where
you
you're going, yeah, no, there's a few spots. But if you do know where you're going, It's a nice road. It's a nice road.
And I left at night, and it was like kind of it gave me that feeling of sun was going down, and then just as the roads got to expert level, sun just said bye, and then I was like, oh, okay, here we go.
That happens here. It's all the trees. Yeah, wait until if you do it like after spring when all the foliage is back, it's darker.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it's like Sleepy Hollow shit.
That's what I was going to say.
It's pretty hot.
He actually gave me directions on the rest of the way here. Rent the Headless Horseman. He told me to make a left.
Oh, pretty much. Yeah, no, that's for real.
Answer the 3 goblins riddles. I got them right. I was confident about my favorite color.
If it wasn't, it would have been like one of the kids up on the hill, like popping off shots.
Pink. No blue. Ah!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah, no,
yeah, but as I was enjoying this fantasy, this guy in the pickup truck comes behind me and he just wants to like ride my ass, and I'm like, dude,
that's fair.
Yeah, I'm like, you can clearly see I'm stuck behind the bus.
So like doesn't matter. Pickup truck. Now you got this other story going on behind you.
Yeah, it's got a hook for a hand.
Exactly. Like,
don't flash your eye beams. Don't flash your eye beams.
But Captain Hook might have been good.
He might have been, and
It's up for debate.
Yeah. No, that's another story. We can get to that, but go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, that was it pretty much. But I'm used to that out here. Like even when I met my girl that I'm with now, and she's wonderful, and she lived up in Effort, and she would take me up there. And again, she was driving, so she was zipping down these hills, and
she knows where she's at. Yeah, yeah.
This is the back of my hand right here.
Yeah. Her daughter's sitting in the back, like one of those rally racers, like left turn 2 degrees, and she's
right.
Baja. I'm holding, white knuckling the whole way there.
The only way better if she was doing this like in German, where she's like, "Achfid, it's on." You're just like,
I did
like
get
you have to pry your hands off the dashboard when you're
like Trains Automobile style, just stuck in the dash, and totally got my revenge. Took it to Manhattan, and I said, "Okay, here we go." I said, "Oh, start off real nice.
Your turn.
Just zipping in and out."
The secret is you don't look behind you at all.
Yeah,
that's really
like the secret is you paid your insurance and you're full covered, and you just
yeah,
because you're gonna get hit. I mean, it's not like you just hope it's not bad. Like
I remember my pops used to come home from trips, because when he would travel, most places he'd have to fly because it's far enough, but like New York's, it's close enough where it's like, screw it, I'm just gonna drive. He would come home on more than one occasion with yellow paint.
Oh.
And sometimes it was a very tall vertical stripe, and sometimes it was a long, like, horizontal stripe. And that was the difference of if, you got popped in the parking garage on the road, or yourself, like, just swiped a pole a little bit to get out of the parking garage or spot. So it's just like, welcome to New York. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for real. No, that's just how it is.
It's just one of the ways it goes. But that was my revenge to her. Then she was white knuckling it and stuff like that. And then her reward was a dirty water dog. And I said, here you go.
I don't even want to know what that is.
Oh, that's
dirty water dog. Yeah, that's a big thing.
Basically, the hot dog vendors, they got the carts.
Oh, dude.
And it's wonderful. It's the way.
It's an experience.
Yeah, and I know the way you guys look at it.
It's like mezcal with the worm. Like, don't eat it, eh?
Yeah,
you don't want that. Yeah, fuck it.
It's the same way I look at Scrapple up here.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, but then again,
no.
I used to love me some Scrapple.
Of course, it's all a regional thing. That's the thing. Like we have Spam back home. And it's,
what is Scrapple?
Spam.
Scrapple?
Wait. You don't know what Scrapple is?
I'll let you take this.
No. So all right. So it's okay. So you know how hot dogs are like lips and assholes, right? Right. You've seen The Great Outdoors, and they say, okay. So all right. Here's the deal. At the hot dog factory, the stuff that falls on the floor, they scoop it together, make patties.
It's not that bad.
Come on. Dude, it's the stuff on the floor that got scraped up from the place that scraped the stuff up off the floor.
That even shit won't eat.
Yeah, it's like 2 layers deep from like, I don't know what that is.
And below that is you.
No, we good. We good. No.
Okay.
See, yeah, exactly. No, we good.
That was a Shark Tale reference, by the way.
What's that?
And below that is you. The car wash,
That the car wash?
Yeah.
Jesus Lord. Dude, I've been drinking. I'm sorry. These are all high percenters,
Why would you apologize for that?
I mean, it's green room. You're right. My bad. Sorry.
You just apologized again. What are you doing?
You're right. Fuck off.
Scuffing up.
Is that better? I do it like sadly.
A little lower, please.
I love the green room because we can be more like ad lib and off the cuff.
How about this, baby?
Lower. Yo, but I will be for like I'm telling you, lately has been way more comical. Well, no, that's not correct. Has had a greater volume or a more comical influence, even though it's been very serious, because we've been having some really in-depth conversations. However, there's been more than just an appropriate amount of proper interjection of hilarity. It's like the perfect amount of like funny and serious. It's sincerious. We're being sincerious lately. It's dope.
Seriously.
Sincerious.
Yeah, I was telling you guys that shirt is dope. The one that Jody made. Just show me a photo of it. Like,
all right, so we were thinking
that was the first draft too, really.
Yeah, we wanted to, because we make up so many words.
Okay.
We wanted to do like a definition line where it's like the word, and then whether it's like, noun, adverb, whatever, and then its actual definition.
That's a cool
and then on the
idea.
back, just I'm telling you.
The phonetic spelling, and then
Yeah, like the whole spiel. If it's got like umlaut.
Oh, I already have it designed.
like umlaut.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, there's going to be so many of our words that are going to have umlauts. They might be a silent umlaut, but I'm telling you, this is going to be in there.
Silent Q.
Dude, them too.
You got to have the silent Q.
Well, because we were talking about this. The Q just does not get used enough, and it's like it's unfair. You know what I mean? All these other letters getting all this other recognition, and it's like, yo, Q deserves a little extra. So come on, let's put some more Qs in the words.
Well, just Q. Because what pisses me off is like if I was Q, I'd be like, who's this you guy?
I know,
you
right?
won't leave me alone.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, it's
You're always following
Q
me.
you. Why can't it just be Q?
Oh, that's it.
Why you always following me? Oh, what does it mean, man?
And poor old you, he's got no identity of his own at this point. He's just attached to Q.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm like, dude. You can start its own words, and it typically takes away from because it's usually like un. I mean, think about that. You. I don't know. There ain't too many others. There's like occasion like T's, but there's like two of them.
Yeah, Q doesn't have a lot.
Q ain't got much.
No. There might be.
Oh, wait.
Oh wait, there's more.
Isn't QI a word?
So we've had this discussion. QI.
In Scrabble.
Correct. And Words with Friends and a few other things. QI is an alternate spelling for chi. So it would be what would be deemed a more honest expression of the Chinese. So like we in English would do CHI for chi, but if Chinese or, Asian would write in letters as opposed to characters for words, they would spell it QI. Like Qigong is QI GONG. So yeah, it's the Asian spelling of Qi. If it was done in letters.
So that's the only exemption of getting the U, but it's not even in English, so it does.
No, because another word. All right, good. Nerd alert. So QAT.
Spelling bee.
Wait,
No, QAT is a word. I think it's like cat. I don't know. I'm not sure on the pronunciation. You can look that shit up, fact checker.
An actual word? Like
Yeah, no QAT. It's acceptable.
letters.
You're asking me to look up a pronunciation?
No. Well, because it's 3 letters. It's either going to say like C or Q in the phonetic spot. It's going to be pretty easy. It's not like Galifianakis or something. Nobody?
No, I know. Yeah.
Galifianakis. Yeah, that's basically what he says. But he doesn't say Galifianakis, but
It's got to be him trolling. Every time I
feel like.
Yeah, because I'm like, he's such a pro-level troll that, he's phenomenal, Zach Galifianakis. And every time I looked at his name, I was like, what a shitty stage name. It's a nightmare to put on a marquee. It's a nightmare to say and remember. And
How do you pronounce that? How's that spelled?
Yeah, I think he enjoys that, and I think that that's what I'm saying, like going back to the art and everything like that. Like when I find artists that like really enjoy the level of trolling in the best way possible, where you're not making
no, I know what you mean.
You're not making someone else the joke. You're making
it's the controversial component to it.
You're not like we were saying about cursing, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not cursing just to make noise,
right.
You're cursing to try and put emphasis on something. So it's an art.
It is.
Like if you're
putting emphasis on the syllable.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you're emphasizing, you know,
Emphasizing.
and information is going to bring a concentration that we need, the aggravation with the acceleration of
Within the proclamation.
But it's true though. I think that like even so my daughter, she is 16 now. Every so often when she was younger, we would give her like a badge where I'd be like, you can curse. Let's see how you use it. And for a while she was fine with it. And I would say, okay, here's the rules, you know, never curse at somebody. But you know, when she was younger, she would get a little excited about it. Now, since we did that, she doesn't curse around the house unless she's super pissed or like, you know,
like you hurt yourself.
Right.
Like, okay, all right, you get a pass.
You know, she'll come home and she'll say, you know, oh, this and that person was being such a bitch or something like that. And you don't hear it. But, you know, something I was telling parents where it's like kind of teach your kids how to talk, especially in this generation.
Like in that context,
like,
you're kind of using it as a descriptive because like I could sit here for 5 minutes and try to explain to you what a bitch is, or I could just use the word and just,
yeah.
You know, I'm not using it in a derogatory fashion because I'd just be like, hey, you bitch, talking to that person.
Right.
I'm talking to somebody in a it's like a third person context.
Exactly.
That's
like,
a totally different thing.
Like, you know,
see, and like, dude, all right, going back to the previous conversation about like words we can't use and shit. It's like, dude, when I'm with my people, we're in our bubble. We get to use our vernacular, and you can't say shit about that. So if you're gonna come over here in my bubble and say, hey, you just said this, be like, yeah, A and B, see yourself out of it. Like,
right.
What the F?
That's good.
Like, why you got to come into my business and say some shit about me when I'm over here minding my business and you're eavesdropping? Like, you can go F yourself at that point.
oh yeah, we
Like,
do that.
fuck you, fuck you.
Like even at the gallery and stuff, we do that. We'll be sitting there talking, and you know, sometimes it's dead for the day, so we get really comfortable, and we're just shooting the breeze, and we forget that we're in public. You know, so
There's still people listening. There's still people walking around the gallery.
you know, but there's always someone facing the wall, so that we're like, oh no, kids are here. You know, so we'll be like, hey, there's some kids, and then so we will stop cursing or edit the story or make it more PG or something like that. But I agree with you, man. Like if I'm
Like this bit,
this unkind person,
Earmuffs. Nah, I'd be like earmuffs.
this very irritating female,
yeah, but
this chicken head.
I mean, it's something that, like, you know, growing up, I remember kind of being raised on HBO and George Carlin and all the other master wordsmiths.
No, we've had this conversation. You know? My inspirations growing up was George Carlin, Eddie Murphy, you know, Richard Pryor, George Lopez. So for me to like drop N-bombs appropriately, it's gonna happen.
You can totally do it appropriately, and it's not
That's
something
all-
I'll give an example here.
That's all grouped in cancel culture now, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's all. Everything is so ridiculous, and you know, it's something I tell these people where I'm like, look, here's the deal. At the end of the day, nobody cares what's in your pants or what you do in your bedroom. No one gives a shit. You know, like,
Right.
I even tell people like, you know, one of the easiest targets to do is furries, right? You know, people always shit on them, and I'm like, why, man? Have you ever been assaulted by a guy dressed like a fox? Like, until that starts happening, I don't know your personal life.
I know, right, dude? My eyes
Did you
rolled
just
up
get
to
in
the
my
right.
head
I'm like,
right now?
I'm like, you know, this makes sense.
Right.
It's true though.
Like, unless somebody's dressed as a fox and like humping your leg in a parking lot, like you're pretty good with furries. You're just like, look, man,
Yeah, I know,
you guys
right?
go to a hotel, you all do your business. How different are you than any other Comic-Con? Like, I found that out being an artist. We would do some of these shows like the anime cons and stuff like that, that a lot of them, and I'm not going to out any names, but some of them are well known to be in like a big hookup spot. And I kind of like that because I go, oh, this is these nerdy kids who are the awkward kids at school, you know, and they're wonderful, and this is their heaven. Like, this is
Celebrated, appreciated.
This is their Mecca. Yeah.
yeah, this is what they
definitely
waited
their Mecca.
all year for. They saved every penny. And they're going to get down. They're going to,
Your lordship, yes. Yeah.
hell yeah, man. You
Four
know?
chicks away for the weekend, dressed like Princess Leia. You know.
Oh, but yeah, there's my god, there's some. Oh, there's
And that's the thing, man. They go, they have their great time, and then you go, look, man. And I would sit with other artists or other vendors, and there was one guy. He was just kind of making fun of them, and I'm like, dude, why you gotta shit on anybody having a good time? It doesn't have anything to do with you. You know, it's not like Goku's gonna kick in your hotel room door and do horror. If it happens, please let me know. I will giggle and drive you to the police department. We'll have a great time, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Why you got to harsh somebody else's gig though?
Right. You know, I was like,
do I come into your house while you're drinking Bud Light?
Exactly.
And watching sports games and stuff?
Yeah, dude. I'm just
Fuck
saying,
that.
if I'm rocking out like hotel party wise, and somebody like straight kicks in the door, and they're just like, "Oh, you okay?" And I'm just like, "He's with me."
Yep.
Come over, you bro, over here. Shots.
Yes.
You with me, bro? Yeah.
He's in the gang.
Dude, instantly cool. Yeah, no. See, and this is the thing. One of the great things I appreciate, specifically about Japanese culture, they're very much about, hey, if you're going to do it, I don't give two F's what it is. Do it.
Yeah.
So if you're 85-year-old and you're a freaking RC car drifter, rock it. And I've seen videos of this where there's, old, young, whatever. You got 20, 30, 50, 60, 70, 80-year-olds. There's a whole spectrum of ages, and they're just drifting RC cars, and it's all mad respect amongst each other. Like, why can't we? And there's still that camaraderie. To me, that's the whole thing, is competition where it's like, I'm better than you is not good. The camaraderie of, I just one-upped you, now what do you got? I think is, that's the positive approach of it. Because then it's nobody's ever better. It's just, well, I did that. What do you got next? And, it's like ultimate dance-off kind of shit.
Absolutely. We kind of do that at the shows. Sometimes someone will come out with a piece and they'll think of something that no one's thought of, and we're stuck in admiration. And it's like, oh shit, man, you kind of bested me this one. I hope to be as clever as next.
Like for real, dude. Stormtrooper in a suit. Like as soon as I saw it, I was like, very Banksy. It's that like almost political statement about it. Like, dude, and black and white. I love black and white.
I know that's in the background, JD, but you see that?
Yeah, well,
I noticed it after you had said something, and I was like,
Should we bring it up a little closser so you can see it?
I mean,
It's pretty sweet.
yeah.
it's fucking dope.
I don't know.
That is fucking dope. Hands down, that's the dopest painting I've ever been. Like, are you shitting me? Like, dude, the fact that this is now going to be a part of the studio is fucking mad hot shit. Actually, hey, I'll.
For real.
Well, thanks for having me on the show, man.
I am today, and that's Rovio.
And fantastic to meet you guys. And like I said, shoot the breeze and stuff.
Well, see, and this is exactly what the entire thing of what we do is about, regardless of what show we're doing. Because there's multiple components to any and all of it, but the one core thing is really about conversations. It's about the fact of all of us being able to talk, share, interact, and just starting it, be a part of it. To me, that really transcends a lot of things as far as being impeccable, because you have to be inclusive and accepting and understanding and patient. And there's so many things that really envelop that being just in that, having a conversation, so that you have to have the courage to speak your mind, but then also the courage to be patient enough to understand others, is really what we do. I mean, this is the core of every conversation that we've ever had.
I feel like the things that draw me in the most is when I see like when I'm looking for videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking for things. I'm looking to make that connection with somebody, like to understand somebody on a level. For people to be able to express themselves. And like for me, like the definition of art is trying to express the ineffable.
Yeah. You and that fucking.
It is. It's trying to, in whatever media you work, it's trying to express the ineffable.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I got to be honest, thanks to listening to your show, I know what ineffable means. I was listening to it. And it was
not ineffable.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, no, I know.
What are you calling ineffable?
Listen, ineffable was me from 6th to 9th grade, but ineffable was something totally. And I don't even know if 9th grade things got better. But anyway, it's just what I like to bring.
Well, I mean, most people, in my mind, the first thing I would think of is like, how do you explain God?
That is true.
That is, to me, that's ineffable. That's something you can't, if you have that experience, if you have a union and an understanding with God, that is something you cannot speak on in words.
Yeah. It's kind of like how, we were kind of texting this, so it's inside talks. I don't want people listening to not know what we're talking about. But we were talking about like movie lines. I know you guys like do it a lot. And I always tell people, I was like, the one scene I love from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which is probably one of the most phenomenal movies.
Dude, John Hughes Productions. Love that, man.
The whole universe is amazing. But the scene where they go to the museum and they're messing around, and there's that scene where Cameron just gets locked on this painting. And most people think like they just go, oh, it's him just being Cameron. And I go, no, if you kind of overanalyze it. And this is what I tell people. I go, look, man, there's something simplistic about like a stormtrooper in a suit. And everybody gets that. But if you want to overanalyze, let's say Ferris Bueller's Day Off, for me, I go, here's a man who can't see the big picture. Ferris obviously sees the big picture on things. That's why he's so amazing. He's my idol. He's the guy who we all want to be. You know, we all want to sing on a float and all this stuff. We want to be part of the big picture. Cameron is a dude who is totally obsessed with the small details. So look at what he focuses on in that picture. He looks at the kid crying, which is him. I mean, he's a sad dude.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
But then he keeps looking, and the film zooms in further and further and further until you just see it's pretty much just micro dots of color. And that's where Cameron just breaks. And if you notice in the film, he breaks then because he's sitting there going, oh my God, I'm obsessed with all the details, hence all these little bits of color. But if I pull it all back, I realize that I am part of the big picture. I am something in this. I mean, this is kind of what caused him to snap. Of course, it was mostly the car attendant who drove the car. But, you know, I feel like that's
flying over the hills,
which is such a good scene. But it's such a reflection of his character. It does go into the theory.
I thought you were catatonic.
Yeah. Nope. You saw him change, man. I saw that. Like
he just like starts smirking and looking down. Yeah.
Yeah, because Cameron's the man in that movie. I mean, you know, as you get older, you respect him more, you know, and then I always take that scene as him just kind of finding his place in the universe where he goes, Ferris is a big picture dude. He's the spotlight. You know, he is the guy in the spotlight. I'm the guy who kind of holds the spotlight, and that's okay.
But, I mean,
you know,
from like I don't just speaking for myself. Like, how many opportunities I may have missed in life if it wasn't for hanging out with a guy like Ferris at some point in my life.
Absolutely.
And I've known a couple.
Yes.
You know, like those guys, like they're all fluff.
See, this is
like,
why
when you get down to it, like you can't even talk to them, but like they are the life of the party.
Yes.
And this is why I want you to watch How I Met Your Mother, because Barney is the bombest the bomb. Dude, NPH for life. I love that fucker.
I gotta say,
Neil Patrick Harris is the dopest fucking
That is kind of that guy. I mean, he's deep, but like you'll never get there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I got to say something about How I Met Your Mother, Neil Patrick Harris. First of all, yes, I agree. Neil Patrick Harris, he's a gift on Earth. He's up there with Keanu, and time will tell on him.
There's plenty of people that agree with you. Go ahead.
And the thing that bugs me out the most is we give actors awards when they play, you know, a straight guy played a gay guy and all that stuff. And I go, and okay, that's fine. You're out of your character. You're proving you can act. Wonderful. But we got Neil Patrick Harris, who's a fantastic, you know, he's gay dude. He has a great family. He's wonderful. He's such a gay icon. And at the same time,
massive, amazing magician.
Yes. And he's a role model for straight dudes. And I'm like, how did you do both?
How did you do that?
He's fucking NPH, bro.
Why are we not acknowledging this?
Who would know better?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right? Because he was a child doctor.
Yeah,
kind of like
think about this.
Well, kind of like the conversation we were having before. Like, who would know me better?
Yeah,
than another guy.
Well, because he was like 8 and 9 years old, and he was pulling like the biggest tail ever. Because he's just, you know, he's a freaking child doctor, so he's like mad rich, totally dope. Like intellect alone, he's just like slamming it down. Dude, I'm telling you, like smart chicks are sexy as shit, man.
Dude, smart chicks are just
they're hella dope.
Yeah, they really are. I mean.
Yeah, intelligent women out there. I'm for real.
Well, I needed to surround myself with a smart chick. I needed to surround myself with a smart chick.
Yeah,
you remember 66 times.
No, your wife's like more than smart. She's like, she's almost like scary. Evil genius.
Little
smart.
Yeah, a little scary.
Oh, she's layers. She can play chess. She's smart.
That's like my girl. She's super smart. Like my girl is the reason I'm doing art in the first place. You know.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And she's wonderful. I mean, she's just really smart. I can enjoy having conversations with her. But yeah, super genius level smart. You know, we were even talking about that with James Bond. Remember we were talking about that about should James Bond be a woman? To me, I'm going absolutely not. You know, no offense to anybody, but I go. You know, we can make another agent, and here's the plot of the movie. James Bond, he basically sleeps with the girl, right? He thinks it's the villain's chick. It's what he does. But the villain's chick is the villain.
You need that. Yeah, because it's like the mad antagonistic component of it. It's like the Romeo Juliet kind of a thing. You have to have that opposing love to make it, you know, taboo.
But then here's the
The
thing.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith of it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the villain. She's the head of this whole thing, and that was a fantastic reference.
This is our fact checker, man. You know what I'm saying? We got you know what I mean?
She's very great on the show, by the way.
You don't need to tell us. You know, preach it to the choir, dude. Because if you've been listening, there's so many times where we tell you, like, hey, we appreciate you, like we really do. But
Because we would sometimes totally fall apart if it wasn't just for having the like.
I mean, now, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Because before we didn't give a shit.
Well, because you were always corralling me and I was always tangenting.
I know. No, I don't have to.
Now we
Thank you,
both
Lord.
kind of just tangent everywhere, and she has to corral us back in. So thank you. Thank you very much.
She's the lightning rod in the ground.
Oh, yeah, she is.
And that's what I need one of them at the gallery at all times. Like I have, some friends, and of course, females help, and especially when it's a female there, you can kind of feel their energy. And if I'm pulling a joke too far, if I'm bending so far, it's gonna break. I look at the girl.
Okay, we're good.
You see their face, or if I look at my girl and she's giving me that look, like I know you like to take a joke far, but pull back, Vic. And I'm like, okay, you're right.
I know, pull up.
Was this, you like having somebody around that's going to take the attention off of you?
Absolutely, yeah.
So that like what I'm doing over here, like, is there something I can put in this hand?
like $200. Ouch! You're breaking my arm.
Yeah, you need somebody to throw off the rhythm, or and it's something wonderful that happens at the store. These people, they come in and we sit and we have fantastic conversations. They'll come in and say, hey, Vic, what'd you think of the Batman or whatever the new movie is? Double-edged sword to that is that every time a new movie comes out, I can't get to see it up until Sunday night because I'm too old to go to a midnight screening. I'm not going to do it.
You're too old?
Yeah. I'm
just too old.
Just too old. It's all it is. I'm like,
I can't take all her things. She's too old.
Old. He's just old. And, but then, you don't want somebody to walk in and go, oh, hey, can you make a painting of that final scene in Batman where he does this? And you go, well, shit, man, I didn't. Yeah, I'll make a scene. So you have to be on top of.
I want like Vader and Luke, where he's like hanging off the thing. He's like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the perfect moment right there.
I don't know if you've ever heard this before, and I mean this is an absolute compliment, just so you're aware. I get a very heavy, like, Kevin Smith vibe from you, bro.
Thanks, man.
Like, honestly.
Yeah, I get that. I do get that a lot. He is honestly one of my absolute idols.
I think he's the new John Hughes.
He really is. And a lot of people, they shit on him. I mean, most recently, his biggest thing was He-Man was a big controversy. And I tell people, I'm like, he was just a cog in that machine. Like He-Man is not his thing. He full out came out and said, look, I don't know He-Man.
Sometimes you got to do the friend film. Sometimes you got to do the studio film.
It's like blaming the state of the world on the president.
Exactly.
He's just they just
really,
put him here.
One guy is really, there's just one person made all this happen.
They
Yeah,
just-
sure.
They just put him here.
Yeah. Like even we were talking about Tusk and stuff.
His name's on the paper. Yeah, great.
Exactly.
Wait, I'm sorry.
No. We were talking about Tusk Outside, which is a Kevin Smith movie about
Dude, Justin Long, dope as fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
It's phenomenal.
Oddball, crazy ass movie, but oh my God.
He pulls it off.
Well, so going back to what I said,
Disturbing movie,
Kevin
though.
Smith being the new John Hughes, for real. Because I mean, going back to even further when we were talking about the whole John Hughes thing of this, that, and the other, is he really does touch true psychological aspect. So when his writing comes out, it's a very honest expression, and we've had this discussion a few times where, to me, what he would produce written wise comes across as so honest that it truly seems organic.
Yes.
His ability, Breakfast Club, hands down. You get so caught up in the moment. I mean, what the actors do, plus the script on top of it with the whole setting. I mean, every inch of it.
Well,
you literally get you're in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah.
Like you feel like you're just sitting in the library watching in this bubble where they can't see you and all you can hear to be on that kind of a level, you have to be open, honest, impeccable. Like, it is such a beautiful, amazing thing to be at that point. And there's very few individuals in this world that can do that, let alone directors, which, I mean, yeah, dude, anything John Hughes touches is like.
But it's like the break it down into the archetypes. I mean, like
You know what's funny?
You were making reference to.
We were talking about how James Bond couldn't be a woman, and we never even finished, and now we're over here.
Well, this
is what I love about
what we
us.
do.
Yeah.
But
Because I still want to hear the rest of that shit.
We'll get back to that.
I'm like, bro, I gotta find this out.
You put forth what we were talking about, but where, like, throughout the years, you identify as a different character within the.
Yes.
Like, so it's the same thing with the Breakfast Club. Like, I feel like there's a lot of that where, depending on the day or the whatever, the year, whatever you're going through in your life, you identify with a different.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, same as Breakfast Club. We talked about Goonies. We said, like, you're different Goonies at different points in your life. Like, at one point, you know, I was a poor kid growing up, so I kind of recognized myself with Data, believe it or not, because I was always trying to make toys out of things. Now I'm more into the, like, now I feel more kind of like the Brad role, where I'm like, okay, I'm older now. Like, I still want to get down with you guys. But I kind of need, like, you know, to kind of get my chops broken in order to find out what the hell you guys are talking about now. You know, like, sometimes people, like, they tell me about what's going on, and I'm like, I don't get it. You know,
Wait, but the Brad mode.
Yeah, like
Brad wasn't even a Goonie.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, it's exactly the point.
Right. But he does become a Goonie, like, towards the end, when he kind of goes into and lets go of his inhibitions towards the whole thing. And that's how I feel now as an adult, where I'm like, oh, I kind of feel like it. Now, granted, my whole entire childhood, I wanted to be Mouth. I mean, who didn't?
Dude, I mean, you know what? Like, I identify a lot with, I mean, all right, so, like,
I just wanted to be Chunk.
yeah, I mean,
always had
You know, I identified when I was younger. I identified with Chunk.
well, so
That's how I felt.
my thing was always the fact that, like, all right, so
Chunky.
me
little kid.
growing up, I lived in a poor ass neighborhood and my parents were poor as shit. Mind you, it was because they were working their butts off, but also trying to go to school at night to better themselves so they can get better jobs so that they could make more money and work less. You know, so like they had a plan in set, like, and it was like there was like investment behind it. So I mean, like, growing up, we were, you know, broke as shit. Like you were saying, the whole Data thing. We would make stuff from stuff and then make stuff from that stuff and, like, dude, so it made me very intuitive, imaginative, and, like, resourceful. I'm very blessed for that. So, I mean, growing up, like, I think all of the Goonies in that general sense, because each one of them had to be able to make do with what they had. And if you look at the, you know, the father figures that they have to reference, they emulated each one of them. So it was the fact that, like, each one of them represented, hey, I don't have much, but this is what I have, and I respect that. And that's what they really glorified. And I think on that level, I literally, like, associate with every single one of them because they all express themselves in a completely different regard, but for the same manner and the same purpose and the same meaning. And, you know, and I think that's, like, the bigger picture and gift about all that. Because, you know, even going to Brad.
Yeah.
Same exact shit.
Same exact thing. I mean, it's just,
you know, tennis courts and whatever else. And
yeah. Wait, am I saying the wrong character? I'm talking about Mikey's older brother.
Yeah.
Oh,
Brad. Right?
Yeah.
No. Brad was the fucking rich dude.
No, that's Troy.
Oh yeah, no,
That's Troy.
Yeah.
That's Troy.
Wait, is it
If you're going up in the bucket.
Yeah.
if you go up in
bucket.
Troy's bucket of love here.
See, what sucks is I wish I was better at music, because my friend Mike years ago, he said, you know, it'd be a great band's name. And I said, what? He goes, Troy's Bucket. And I was like, dude, that's a dope band name. Like,
Right.
you know, people are like,
That's also a great name for a porn store.
either way. Just saying. I'll go either
And if
way.
it's already out there and it gives me extra hits, that's great.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Like, you know, right now there's like 3 kids in the garage. Like, finally, someone knew our name. And but yeah, okay. So to finish up the
Troy's
James
Bucket.
Bond's movie for you,
Oh yeah. Because when we come back to it, little known fact about Goonies and names of people. But yeah, go ahead.
oh sure. So I thought about this because sometimes I get, you know, being in the art world, you get a lot of people on, I guess, the left, and not getting political or anything, but they're always into this whole, you know, James Bond can't be a woman. I said, okay, I'll do your homework for you. Here's the female James Bond movie if you want one. Here's the plot. So James Bond being himself, male chauvinistic, right? Oh, by the way, make him Idris Elba because he needs to be James Bond. I mean, that dude is just straight charisma. He's awesome. You know, So he gets caught because he sleeps with the woman. James Bond uses sex as a weapon, but this female knew that, right? So she said, boom, I'm going to sleep with you. And just when you think you're going to light your cigarette and leave me for dead, boom, I'm going to catch you. You're caught. Octopussy, essentially.
Right.
Is like, fuck, James Bond is done. He's out. We need to send another agent. And they're like, listen, it was just revealed it was a woman. They send a female agent, right? Now, instead of doing another movie, and I'm not trying to shit on it.
It can't be 007.
Can't be 007.
That was your whole point.
Negative.
That has already been kind of typecast.
Absolutely.
And you can't change the cast.
You can't change the cast. You got to leave certain things the way they are. She could be 004. I don't know how the numbers go. I know that there's
it's like a Ken doll because it just came out smooth. You're just like, send it out in the field anyways. Keep going.
I can't change the cast.
We don't have time to make another one.
You know what'd be great about this movie is that if you had like some really, what I would do is I would get like
there's no argument about anatomical correctness. Sorry.
Absolutely. Get some sadistic women to write this movie, right? And then here's what you have. You have female versus female, right? And I'm sorry to say this, but women are freaking awesome at battling this mental game. And we all know this, right? Like they best us whenever we can. Like mentally.
Because men are dumb because we think with our penises.
We are pretty much.
Gay, straight, or do it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Every man thinks with his penis. I'm just going to put it out there. We all do it.
Right. And here's why this movie would work.
Wow.
Females,
okay.
Fight me on that.
No, I'm not going to fight
me on that.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, females.
I don't lead with that, but I'm just, I do agree that it's there.
I'm going to be impeccable.
It is true. And then females will watch this movie and they would be like, oh my God, I've done moves like that. Or I know girls who do that move. And men, we'd watch this movie and go, holy shit, I dated a girl who did that exact movie. This is terrifying.
And you just like look, you'd be like, yo, remember when I told you that story about that chick? Be like, yeah, that's what she did.
And we would be hyper invested in this. And we would be like, oh my God, I'm just going to call it 004. I'm sure there's some nerd out there that's like 004 is Chinese. I don't care. They would say, oh my God, 004.
I mean, it sounds like it.
Right? It sounds like it.
Like, dude, he just ordered a number 7. Wait, what? Right there. No, 004. I said number 7. 004.
004.
Sorry, it should actually be 2 agents, and one's called column A and column B. And then, which would just be awesome. It's just 2 badass ninjas, and sorry, like my version of 007 is wacky.
Well, who killed him?
Yeah, it's just
Someone column A.
One from column A, one from column B. Man, you're in trouble now.
It was either that or the MSG.
Yeah,
it's true.
But that I think that would work.
That little fucker came out of nowhere.
And people, they don't want to see it. They go, oh, we need to make Bond a woman. I'm like, no, you don't. You can make someone totally else. And then this female would be awesome. And females, we could have a whole spin-off series. We want to see her and James Bond work together. We can make a new.
Yeah, you weren't saying we can't do it. You're just saying that can't be 007.
Correct. Because you want to have certain
character's
things.
Been written.
Right. And you go, as a man, you go, okay, listen, if I have a son.
That's sexist.
Well, no.
So sexist,
no. It's like saying if Air Jordan is number 23, somebody else steps in. Now because they're just number 23, they're automatically Air Jordan.
Correct.
Not the same.
Not the same.
Not the same.
We learned
that's why you retire a number in the first place. Because it's like, no, dude, I can't think of any other person now.
Right.
You have to use a different number.
Yeah. So no, that's agreed. Not 007.
Not 007. See, I don't know much about sports. I do know Jordan was.
I don't know much about sports either.
But all I do know is that Space Jam 2 bombed. So
I think everybody knows that.
Even my kids, they were like, should we go see it? I was like, what? Do you want to go see it? And they're like, nah. I'm like, okay.
That proves that, LeBron, as great as he is, I don't know what he does, but you ain't Jordan, man.
For real.
Like, we ate that movie Space Jam.
Nobody's Jordan, though.
Nobody's Jordan.
But the same thing. Nobody's Dave Chappelle. Nobody's George Carlin. Like, there's plenty of mad cats out there.
Well, see, now you're talking about...
Yeah.
Now you're talking about somebody who fits that niche versus somebody who's like a cult of personality all by themselves.
No. Because for real, each individual, regardless of what their industry or what their expression is,
cult of personality.
Each person, regardless of their expression, industry, like wherever they're at. Oh yeah, we're like way over.
Okay.
But each and every single one of them is identified as their own. Mind you, it's on top of what they're known for, but they, in and of themselves, they're all unique.
Who's on top of what I've known for? What?
Well, it's funny. It's funny you guys say that because talking about Carlin and all them, Chappelle, I always think that when you cancel these like masters of the words, you know, that you have no idols for these new generation that grows up. Because
we're limiting. We're literally limiting.
Yeah, we're doing that. And then what happens is people live in this virtual world. It's a big echo chamber. You can go to imright.com and find, you know, whatever.
MyPrettyKitty.com.
Yeah.
What is this shit? Yeah.
Because you know what it is? Like back in the day, okay, so to make it super simple, I always give this analogy, right? Where I was a kid. I was like 14 years old, and I was a Green Day fan. You know, it was hard being a Green Day fan in the 90s because they weren't punk enough to be punk. They weren't rock to be rock.
They weren't really that popular.
They were not
when I first
popular.
heard about them. They weren't. It was like.
So you were an
It was the weird kid at first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Not to say that you're.
I was the weird kid. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, no, like in my grade when we were in high school, there was like me and I think 2 other chicks, and we were the only ones that were like Green Day anything.
See? So
And they were like the 2 of the biggest outcasts, like punk chicks.
Absolutely.
I mean, one, I hung out with
Those are the
everybody.
people that get
but yeah,
pissed
like,
when like their breakout album comes out and like, dude, I've been listening to Green Day for like, you know.
well, yeah, but to give proper context on that statement, for him and I, like when we went to high school, pretty much most of the individuals that could drive to school that had cars were hand-me-downs, and there was a high percentage of relatively expensive automobiles in that parking lot. So just a little context.
Yeah,
Some
Slightly
Beamers.
different upbringing. Oh, there's a few. A couple Benzes.
Some Camaros.
Some Sabs.
Some Sabs.
Volvos.
There was a Volvo or two.
Basically, it was like all non-American and like pretty pricey. And it's just like, here, have that.
Well,
Here, have a $12,000 automobile. Oh, great, thanks, Dad. God, I'm gonna be seen in this thing. Ugh. Really jocking a 5 Series BMW there. That's great.
See, that's what I mean. Like, you know, and you go into these weird. So again, so being the Green Day fans and the misfits, the outcasts, like you find other misfits and outcasts, and you kind of develop your personality based on that. Nowadays, you just go into this weird chat room echo chamber. I'm saying chat room like it's AOL, but you know what I'm talking about. They go into these little subcategories, and they go, "Yeah, man, I'm into that too." And then everything that doesn't like what I like sucked. You know, so
Yeah.
I'm going to grow up super cynical. I'm going to grow up with no social skills whatsoever. I can't read a room, you know, and I could just say what I want. Hence what we're talking about outside, where it's a whole generation of people that you go, oh my God, you guys have never been punched in the face.
Yeah,
and you have,
for real.
no fear
I
of
mean,
this.
here's my issue as
Like-
we go like well over time. But like, here's
Bro,
my
green
issue.
room,
It's like,
green room, bro.
I know. But we got to make room for the rest of the night.
We do what we want.
Bro, dude, it's not late.
He needs
But,
his
like,
noodles is what he's saying.
We're actually on time for
Like,
once.
we never heard about no ADD when we were
Right.
kids. Like,
Yeah,
that's
I know.
bullshit.
It's bullshit.
You mean we didn't get drugs for that?
No,
We got nothing.
you got to beat him. Like,
We didn't-
or
we
sent
couldn't pay
outside,
attention.
or sent outside.
we didn't get drugs. I'm like, it just became a thing. Is it really a thing? Like, I'm curious about that. Like, I understand that, and I don't want to insult anybody who is dealing with certain issues. I understand that there are imbalances and there's emotional trauma and there's all kinds of other things that could be at play. But like, I never heard it. It's like peanut allergies.
Yes. It's
Like, where did this all come from? Because as a kid, I don't remember ever. Well, technology has gotten so much better that we're better at detecting these things. But it's like, are you detecting them, or are you just
So here's the deal. My one buddy actually had a
are you just creating
hypothesis on
something?
this.
Like,
No,
you
my-
go to sleep at tired at night and wake up. Yeah,
My one buddy had a hypothesis on this, and I really want to agree with him because it absolutely makes sense. So everybody wants to blame like ADHD or ADD or like this, that, the other, Asperger's, blah, 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 like all these things. It's the chemicals, it's the farming, all these things. And people would even be like, oh, it's the vaccines and da-da-da. It's like, yes, it is, but it's not. So it's not that there was like mercury or blah, 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 or whatever else. Here's the thing is, there's a certain amount of people that most likely within their genetic buildup, like their DNA structure, having the fact that without like a polio vaccine or measles or mumps or something like that, something literally as simple as that, the fact that if that child didn't have a natural ability to defend itself against it, it would have been predisposed to something else regardless. So the fact that you've canceled this component out, now all of a sudden you have a much larger population of children that survive longer because those things have been canceled. So it's like, all right, so they're healthier enough or less susceptible that they can continue on. Well, now you're having a larger population of children that are surviving that now have a alternate something.
Yeah. I mean, that
You know,
makes
so it's just-
complete sense.
That's why like third world countries, because you have like high rate of birth, but you also have like high rate of birth death. You know, you start giving in all like these, you know, nutritional foods, proper water, medication, Now all of a sudden that population like booms as well, but you're probably going to start seeing tendencies towards something.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the big problems is that, you know, it's just an era of distraction too. I mean, besides the joke of I'mRight.com, I mean, look at how powerful our phones are. And like, I don't blame my daughter for being on it, because I was like, look, man, my life was ruled by.
Oh yeah, we talk like this all the time.
You know, like a Game Boy, yellow screen, gray blocks, and my life was.
I always saw it more as green.
It was greenish, yeah.
I mean, to me, I
depends on which way you tilted.
Yeah, right. Yeah, shit.
And it ruled our life. And here's a funny experiment. I challenge a lot of people to do this because, and again, you don't have to smoke to do this, but it does help, at least me.
You ever seen a $20 bill? Oh, weed.
Here's the one thing. Like, if you smoke, I did this the other night, and I said, all right, so I smoked a bit. And like I said, I'm very lightweight. It's 1 or 2 hits to help with the Lyme disease, shuts the creative brain off. So I'm sitting there and I smoked, and I pulled out my phone, and I said, okay, I'm going to open up Spotify. And all I'm going to do is just, my phone is now a Spotify machine. I will not be able to go into any other app. Can't check my Facebook, no Instagram, nothing.
Okay.
And then I sat there and I put the Bluetooth headset in, and I was like, holy shit, I have the entire world's music in my hands. And that's amazing. Like, we go from the era of having a Walkman where you have a tape that maybe your friend.
That's such a good point, though.
And then
we've talked about this.
That's such a good point.
Like, we used to have to sit by the radio,
wait for our favorite song,
finger on the record buttons, just like waiting to smack it.
Yeah.
Hopefully you didn't make the mistake and like just press the record. And it's like, oh no, you got to hit record and play. It's like,
yeah, or you hit record, but you forgot the pause button was down.
Or dude.
Oh, nothing
Ryan,
worse.
Because you're like in between tracks because you're making that bomb mixtape for the block party. Oh yeah, dude.
Well, normally after you just hit the pause button, because that's where you
stop it.
That's where you had it saved at the right when the DJ started.
Yeah. And all that stress. And I sat there and I was like, oh my God, this is an amazing device in my hands. Like, I have the entire, I could look up Come On Eileen, and then I could see, oh, there's a metal version, there's a bluegrass version. And then I could just go through 20 versions of this. And then I'm like, this is amazing. And I really appreciated my phone. And I'm like, this is great. This is an awesome machine. And then I'm like, oh, we're just shitty. Like, we're just shitty people that we go, oh, the compression quality is weird. And I'm looking at my Facebook and checking my Instagram. And
well, I mean, if you want to be a complete D-bag about it, but
oh, and that's what this generation is, a bunch of D-bags.
That's my whole point, though, is like, my running joke is, we basically have the Library of Alexandria within the palm of our hand, every one of us, and we're too busy looking up porno and cat videos.
That's all it is.
To really notice what's going on around us. And it's just, that's what disturbs me, is that it's like there reaches a point where it's like a diminished return anymore. That like, we're too connected. We're so connected that we don't even know how to connect with each other anymore.
Yeah, we are in the
like, do you remember the day when you used to ride your bike to your friend's house?
Yep.
You didn't call him ahead of time.
You just went, and if
you just rode to his house,
we're in front. You're like, there's everybody.
Or you rode their bike to their house.
Yeah. High five.
Yeah, say no.
Oh, dude,
I used to ride his bike from my house to his house so we can smoke cigarettes and take the bus at his stop. That was like our date, so we could just chill for a hot minute. And then the same thing is like after school, we get dropped at his spot, we hang out, chill, smoke cigarettes. I'd ride his bike back to my house so I could ride it back in the morning.
I got to tell you, man, like that's the neighborhood I grew up in. So I grew up in this neighborhood called Oakwood in Staten Island. And it was this wonderful neighborhood of just every mix of life, right? So none of us were the same, so everybody had like a different thing.
That's not too bad.
Yeah. Not too bad, man. But again, I mean, me and my friends, we loved one another. Like, we really did. We never said it live at the time.
You didn't see those things?
No, we were so volatile to one another because we just, bust balls all day. It was just nonstop.
But it was out of love.
Absolutely.
It was totally out of love.
And you know what the thing was that there were so many times, like I remember when I started to yes, when I would dye my hair, man. And I'd have like blue hair and purple hair, and I would hear it, man. Oh, fag and blah, blah, blah.
That shit is gay, man.
Yeah. And again, like, not to out my mom. I'm so proud of her. Like,
I love you, man, but I'm just saying.
And again, like you'd have to fight
I got friends that are gay.
Yeah.
in jail.
It's like I know a black dude. I can say what I want.
Not to cut into your story, but I bleached my hair when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I had the nerve. You remember this story? I had the nerve to come into my mom's kitchen with the kid whose hair got bleached with the same packet.
Oh,
it was a friend of mine through my girlfriend.
right.
So I can see where she might have gotten this from, but I mean, I remember like it was like 2 weeks into that new hairdo.
Yep.
And I'm wearing like khakis and a nice button up because I work in an office building. And my mom looks at me. She had to drive me to work that morning, and she's like, "I just have to ask,
Yeah.
are you gay?" And I was just like,
Yeah, no, dude.
Yeah.
It's not, no, because I think you and I, like, it was probably like, I think it was like 2.5 hours later or something. I wound up like, we wound up meeting up or whatever. And you're like, so I gotta tell you. And I was just like, oh, what's up, bro? And he tells me the story. Because, dude, him and I, we've always, no matter how much we've eviscerated one another on any kind of a level, there has always been a true 100% acceptance, appreciation, and validation between one another.
You had to put up with my shit when I got broke up with Becky and all that other stuff. And, man, I was a mess.
That wasn't the only thing I had to do.
Let's go away. That's name dropping.
But for real, like the ironic story behind him and I is, backstory, true story, like real backstory is, at one point in his life, I saved him, and at one point in my life, he saved me. Like, we've literally saved each other's lives.
Oh, see, that's dope, man.
Like, for real. And I mean, like on the hardest level, for real. We've documented some of this shit too.
Well, I did the damage to myself.
I mean, you just think you ain't got no balance, bro. It's not really your fault, Like, you were just born this way. You're like a big
motion in a certain direction. I landed
like fresh newborn calf. Your legs are like you just can't.
Well, you know what's funny is like, and it goes back into kind of what we were saying before, that all these outings and experiences and saving friends' lives and one another. Like my friend Phil, he just passed away about a year ago.
Sorry.
Oh, thanks. But he saved my life. I had a kidney stone. No drama here. Sorry, I don't know how deep your guy's story goes, but mine was just straight kidney stone, and I was laid out on the bathroom, and he came in. He was a big dude. I totally passed out, and it was stuck in my urethra. And whoever still gives a shit at the story, but anyway, the thing was about to pop, and he took me to the hospital.
Joke. I haven't had one before.
Oh yeah, it sucks.
And maybe that's genetics. I don't know what it is, but I mean, and a friend of ours has had like several. But I mean, I've heard it's pretty much like the male equivalent of having a baby.
Absolutely, man. And that's
so I won't downplay that at all.
Right. And again, I don't know if there's a deeper story, but I think that in our generation we had that much bigger advantage of no phones. I know. I'm looking at the time. I'm like, by the way, I think it's so funny.
What's great about Green Room is there is no rules.
Somebody's getting a little extra this week.
This is Fight Club in Vegas. This is what it is.
We don't talk about it.
You don't talk about it. There's no video. Nobody says shit. But if you're the first time here, dude, you gotta fight.
It stays in the green room.
I think it's so funny that it's kind of been. I don't know if it's the longest, but as I told you when you stepped into the gallery, I said a lot of people wanted me to rename the gallery the Vortex because they would come into the gallery. And we just start shooting the shit. And then 2-3 hours go by and they're like, Vic, I had things to do. I got to cut things out of my schedule now. And I'm like, cool, man. We like to talk and we just shoot the breeze.
It's funny because I don't think we actually introduced you by name. I keep thinking about that and I can't find a place to interject, but like we never actually did a proper introduction at all.
I said my name. So my
name.
He did say, he said Vic from Bethlehem and something of Quakertown. Like
right, but we didn't actually do a full introduction.
Dude, it's fucking Green Room, bitch.
No, I understand.
Dude, he's gonna get that on. I'm telling you, we're gonna be like, we're gonna.
I mean, as soon as I put it up on Facebook, I'm going to be like, hey, guys, surprise. We took the longest episode ever. And then people are going to be like, no shit, they had you as a guest, man. I'm surprised you didn't sleep over and live there.
So we, like in series one, series one, we had no restraints other than ourselves. And the one thing we always said is the only time we're going to cut the conversation is if it got to a place where it was just like, yo, no, we're done.
Yeah,
when we broke to a spot where it was too deep, too dark, too whatever, and it was just like, this is not a conversation
like Joe
anymore.
Pesci right now. We really
shit, right? At that point, we're out, and that's actually happened. But So when we got to season 2 is when we started doing the radio show where we had to have it truly like chopped down to a certain time. That's when we started getting more structured in it. But I mean, outside of that, no, it's this is the jungle.
Yeah, I mean, I like this format.
We have like
Seinfeld of conversations.
Well, no, because I think we had the one, like series 1, there was the one episode I think was like close to 2 hours or just over 2 hours. Didn't we have like just over 2 hours?
Had at least one that went over 2 hours. Yeah.
I
but
think
it wasn't a common thing, but it was common to go about an hour and a half.
Because I think when we did the like, speaking of saving lives, the Valentine's episode last year, I think between the two of them, it was like a little over 3 hours. Which is odd enough was funny. Like, he comes into the house and we just started like bullshitting for like 30 seconds, and he's like, and he stands up, he's like, "We're setting the mics, we're done, let's do it." And I was just, for the first time, he was literally like, "We're putting this on air," and I was like, "Whoa, he's serious."
That was a rough one, and I'm glad we did, because if nobody, and I even said this before, if nobody ever listens to that, I don't care, because I'm still getting what I need out of that.
Well, yeah, because you and your dad actually got to talk a little bit about it, and you had a much deeper bond out of it. Like, the two of you have been like even way closer. So it's like,
it's still,
it's a beautiful.
I think it's still kind of hard for.
Oh, of course, but it's from where it was.
But I was like, Dad, this is if you. I mean, because at one point my dad said to me recently, he's like, "We don't always get to talk to you. I tend to call my folks." And maybe I'm just weird this way. I tend to call my folks maybe like once a month and talk to them. Well, namely my dad, just because we've always bonded like that. I'll talk to my dad for like sometimes uncontrollably 4+ hours.
Right. That's your MO, bro.
And
it's not you and your dad. That's you.
We have no. It's both of us.
No,
I mean, that's great.
Just when you're trying to like cut the conversation, somebody else brings up something, and then you just keep doing that back and forth. And I love my pops, but and it's I don't know. I've never been that guy to call my mom like every week or every day like some people do. I don't know.
I see my mommy at least once a week.
Yeah,
I love my mother,
but I know
I'm fortunate enough that she's like around the corner enough that I can literally see her at least once a week.
That conversation was a bit more of just a reference of, I listened, and it was some tough stuff. And
see, it's nice, man, especially like talking about moms and stuff, because I don't talk to my dad.
Just talking about your mother. No.
Yeah. Especially talking about your mother, and that's what the episode ended. But seriously,
call me sometime when you don't have any class. Hey.
But yeah, I do the same thing. With my mom's, it's either a 4-hour conversation or it's a 10-minute. And I feel bad sometimes because, she'll call me up and I'm like, it's a series of like grunts, like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'm painting, yeah," or it's just, here's everything that's going on and blah, blah, blah.
Like take a verbal dump.
Taking a verbal shit. Like, here is just everything that's happening. But I think that's kind of wonderful when you can be comfortable in silence, with somebody, or just that not necessarily need to check in with someone all the time. And because even when I opened the shop, I got a great message from my friend Steve, who told me, he said, he's like, "Hey, we used to film together and stuff." And he was like, "Man, I love that you're still in the art world. Haven't spoken to you in years. We haven't hung out, but I just love that you're doing the thing and talking to how we used to get along and all that stuff back in the day." And I was like, man, that's nice that people can reach out and you go, cool. I like being on the radar somewhere. I don't have to be front stage, but just that I'm in the background.
As long as I'm on the list.
Right.
Yeah, I get that.
If somebody goes looking for me, can they find me?
Yeah.
Dude, I can be on the bottom of the list, but as long as I'm on the list.
Like, even talking about, my friend Phil, he passed away on a Saturday, and Friday night he called me, and I ghosted the call, and it devastated me. It still does kind of haunt me to this day, but death really doesn't freak me out too much. You know what I mean?
I feel you on that.
Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I felt bad because I kind of wondered what it was about. And I looked at the text message prior to that, and it was about the casting of the Super Mario Brothers movie with Chris Pratt and shit. And I was like, it was just going to probably be another phone call about, Vic.
But it was your last opportunity to have.
It was the last. But the way I always felt about death and stuff like that was that, and again, not to go into open a whole nother can of worms, but
No, we'll get that in the next show.
yeah, we'll get that in the next one.
I mean, that's what
Yeah.
so that's what Green Room's for.
But I said, I was like, when someone dies, in my mind anyway, I'm like, it's not the end. Whatever love they have for you kind of stays with you.
I think we're definitely gonna put a pin in that.
Yeah,
right
we'll
there.
stay with that because that's going to open up a whole religion.
I actually would love to leave on that note.
Yeah.
That's an awesome. note
I'm
to
down
leave
with
on.
that. You know,
It's never the
We're
end.
obviously deep enough.
Yeah, that
Well, because technically, this is the rules of the green room. So the green room was to warm us up, double check equipment, whatnot. But also, once we got to a place where the conversation was just like, ooh, it's like, stop. Pee break, everybody eat, and let's come back to this. Which sometimes we would and sometimes we wouldn't. But
no, it's a
Yeah,
good
so,
thing. Always
yeah,
leave
no.
them wanting. You know, like
oh yeah, we do, dude. We do it all the time. It's so unintentional.
Just get right
all
back
of you
into
who
some
listen,
shit.
we love you so much. I know we're such assholes, but like we don't mean it. Sorry.
it's like anyway. The meaning of life is oh shit, we're out of time. Next
Oh,
episode.
no.
42, actually.
Yeah, it is 42. It absolutely
It
is
is 42.
It's 42.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is a great place to take a break. Yeah, I mean, B-sides in the green room. Yeah,
Currently, still B-sides in the green room.
yeah. But stay tuned. Soon enough to.
There'll be changes forthcoming.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I guess we'll do. Yeah, Philly D.
Mr. Gemini.
You know her.
Miss JD.
Yeah, and special guest.
Victor Baello, as small media large pop art. You know.
Yeah, do shameless plug. Go ahead, blow it out. Like
Get it
dude,
out.
anywhere they can. Yeah, anywhere they can get in contact. Emails, anything.
So basically, if you go down to the Quakertown Farmers Market, that's where I'm at.
Bro, I was just there. I bought guppies the other day.
Oh, dude, come down. Next time you're there, stop by. I'm right next to the winery and stuff.
It's got a
So,
big sign out front that says Pop Art.
Was it Mountain Lake?
yes, Mountain Lake
They
Winery.
sell our beer there.
Do they?
Yeah, our lager.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah, Joy, she's a delight.
Joy is so wonderful.
She's a lovely person.
Oh, my God.
Lovely, lovely.
Well, no, because like, so when she used to deal with us. Oh wait, Nate, I thought you can do a whole nother story. We're trying to wrap this
yeah,
up.
we'll get it next time. It's a joy.
We'll
'cause she's
talk
so
about this on
wonderful.
break.
No,
Yeah,
shame-
F you,
shameless
you all.
plug is
Yeah.
all, you know.
But yeah, I mean, it's always there, and whenever you guys want, come in.
And
It's
do you have Facebook or I mean, yeah? How can people get a hold of you for real? Go
Yeah,
ahead
if
and-
you type in SML Pop Art, all one word, into Facebook or Instagram, I should pop up. And I know we do free shows for artists. So if anybody is a young artist and they want to just get themselves out there, they bring a table, they put their work out, and it's a no strings attached. It's just if you show up, you show up. If not, we'll catch you at the next one. No hard feelings. And the next one is going to be, well, I don't know when this will air, but it'll be,
That's in 2 weeks. Usually, I don't know. We're
better to
usually
give
pretty
like
far
the pattern
ahead.
of when they usually fall.
I would say every
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
months, like we do like a Halloween show, we do a Christmas show, Valentine's
There you
Day,
go.
usually stuff like that. So if you ever
Okay,
want to
okay.
get involved, reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram, come into the store. I don't give a shit if you have stick figures. If you can sit there confidently and pitch that, look at South Park. I always tell artists, look at South Park. That art sucks.
I
but
was-
it's
dude,
we were
wonderful.
I was
talking-
in your gallery and there are no stick figures in there. I can
Yeah, but
attest to
dude,
that.
all right, stick figures.
The one, and then I have to say this before we go off. The one that totally has me, and I don't know who did it. I don't even, but the Scooby and Shaggy
Oh, that
on the freaking van, and it's spot on.
that is done by,
And it's-
Marcelo Ventura is so good.
It puts you right there,
Yes.
like in the character almost, like as he's kind of got that 1,000-yard stare off into the distance.
It's for anybody who does go on the Facebook or whatever. It is a kind of Into the Wild Scooby Doo crossover. So it's Shaggy and Scooby sitting on top of the mystery machine. Shaggy is smoking a cigarette, air quotes, and he's sitting there with Scooby, and it's the most peaceful painting you could ever see.
It's a hand-rolled cigarette.
Yeah, it was a hand rolled cigarette because I just want to pay corporate fees.
more
to
like a
Marlboro.
cig of weed.
But it is a fantastic piece. But
Yeah, that's hot shit.
yeah, if anybody's down in the Quakertown area, come down. It's a great, and the whole mart is awesome. As you've been there, it's like,
Oh yeah, I go petting there. I do my pet shopping.
oh, okay.
I like the updates they made to it recently.
Dude, my kid does
We're
the
gonna
crafts.
shameless plug.
My kid does the
yeah,
crafts
it's a
out in the
lot cleaner
parking
now.
lots and stuff.
It's a
Like
lot
she'll do a bunch of crafts throughout the year, and then she'll have this mass collection and go and do the morning like Saturday marts or something like that. Or
Oh yeah,
yeah, her and my dad they'll go out there and just start slinging her shit.
yeah. You can get a table.
My kid's a hustler, bro. Like, she's dope.
See, that's awesome.
Well, there's Rice's too, near us. If we're gonna shameless plug.
Nah, she Quaker Mars the hell out of it, dude. Dude, she's like Q-Town for life. She's like, what? She's like, yo, you want this
like
duct tape wallet? I'm telling you.
$20 for a
and
table
I got a
for the
pencil
day or
case.
something like that.
See that? I mean,
You
if she
need a
makes her own stuff,
t-shirt?
tell her to come down to the shows, man. You know?
Yo, she, well, dude, all for real. Like, so all the art in the house.
I was noticing that, and it's
yeah,
actually
that's
really
that's
good.
all her. Yeah, there's a few more. I'll show you the others, or on break. But yeah, do we
tell her
really need
come
to?
down.
Yeah, we need to wrap this up.
Yeah, sure.
Rap with me.
But no, it's been real.
Yeah, no.
As always.
As always, be good to yourself and be good to everyone else. Love you, fam.
Much love.
Peace.
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 Later, everybody.